Referring back to really pretty much The Nation at Risk, the report that came out in the early 80s, just as I was graduating college with a degree in teaching, and saw that ahead of me. And I think a lot of it, and I think the reasons are still the same, and maybe going out on a limb here, but I think it's really politically driven. The roots of what was written in Nation at Risk really began to talk about why the United States was behind, and it was really kind of a rallying cry to help us get forward and be competitive on the global market. But I think it really sort of set the wheels turning of teaching for the test, making sure that there was documented outcomes, and a lot of the leadership and a lot of the art of teaching started to fade away as we became much more interested in teaching towards the test, teaching towards achievable goals, and looking at outcomes. While the data that supports those kinds of things have always been present, I think that there's become such a obsession about that we've really forgotten to how to teach and how best teaching can work. About 2000 was our first one in San Antonio, and we now have 23 academies in 13 different states. We work with over 80 different school districts across the country. So education is a function of the state, and so that also means that we have 14 different systems and 14 different ways in which our students are evaluated. For us, our overarching theme is consistency without conformity. The consistency for us is a student graduates high school. The rubric we kind of use are a couple of things that we ask out of the school districts is that they lower the class size. Generally our classes are 15 students to one teacher. That we also look at the documentation about where that student is and where they're going, and how do we get them to the point that they have a college-ready degree when they leave. So we allow the teachers, and actually it's the school districts and the curriculum that drive that. We provide the wraparound services and the space for that to happen. They're the only reason that makes that determination. The foundation does not make that determination. It is up to the school district. The teachers are employees of the school districts, and the curriculum and the degree requirements are those of the school district. So those are set locally by the individual school district, driven by their state plan. We are in the retail space. You will see that we've taken over old retail stores, other spaces within the mall that were no longer used. So the facades will often look like another storefront, and you'll see that our students have put in cap and gown displays, displays about whatever projects they're working on. So unless you're paying really close attention, you might walk past it without even knowing it's there. But once inside the door, you'll know that something definitely very different is happening. Most of them work around a central hub that is a common space where there's computers, spaces for large group meetings, and then several little classrooms and teaching spaces off of those. So in any given day and any given time, there's usually some small group instruction going on. There's space for where students can be at computers doing resource work on the web, or studying themselves, or involved in activities together around a table. So it's a very different environment. When I was growing up, we used to call that an open school, and the open floor plan supports the ability of these kids to get done what they need to get done. It does. Students are required by law in each of the states that they attend to have so many hours of attendance and achieve so many degrees, or so many credits. We work with the teaching staff to determine how best to meet that. So some of our students attend in block schedules. Some of them attend 4 or 5 days a week. Some of them are out on job sharing opportunities. It's not a bell schedule. It's not 9 to 5. It's not sitting in seats all that time. It's really a way that creates a better flexibility. Many of our students are the economic engines for their own family. Many of our students are parents. So they need that flexibility in a different way to attack school so that they can be successful. They're very comparable. What we do at the Simon Youth Foundation as a strategic embedded funder, we work on the outsides of what happens in that school district. So the cost per pupil is generally the same whether they're in our academy or whether they're in a regular high school. Where the differential comes is the space that we provide with the infrastructure, the space that we provide in cutting down an overhead of security and parking lots and those kinds of things. So those are incremental costs at the edges, and it all probably weighs out. We know for every $1,000 we leverage towards the school, we can help that school district graduate another student. And so that's sort of the factor that we use. The primary partnership is always with the school district. Now there are other companies and other organizations we've talked to about in joint sharing of the academy. Some of our academies bear joint names of other organizations that have helped us out. Where we look for our strongest partnerships is specifically with the Simon Property Group, and what they help us do is provide job shadowing and work development positions for our students. CVS is another national funder that helps us do that too. And so the model can be easily replicated. It's nothing proprietary about that. But for us in our own malls right now, it's primarily the Simon Youth Foundation and the local school district.